Hey everybody, got another video here for you. Okay, glue's dry and this one's working correctly now. And now it's time for the other two holes. $15 for the strap bar position. Right about there. And there we go. There's part. And last but not least, strap. Yep, looks good. looks good. Leans a little away from the player, but once it's up against your body, this should help. So, okay, looks good. Oh, we have a bar now. We can route electronics. So, I just made a bunch of holes in the body that kind of show. So I need to touch them up with some of the brown dye and a Q-tip. There we go. That's what we want. Soak into the holes. I think that's all of them. Let's see, we got that guy from both sides. We got all three of those, and that doesn't show. That's all of them. Okay, I've got a little surprise for this build. I've been holding on to it and not mentioning it since day one that I started filming, but I've always planned to do this. The last time I was experimenting with pickups and doing stuff like invaders hooked up to a acoustic preamp and stuff like that. One of the things I tested was a pair of single coils hooked up in series as though they were a humbucker, and then putting one under the two bass strings at the neck and one under the two treble strings at the bridge, and it gave it full volume and bright on the two treble strings and full volume and lots of bottom end on the two bass strings, and it gave you about half volume on the middle strings. So it naturally gave you a very scooped response curve. And so I was thinking I should try it in a build, so I think I'm going to do that here. So that's the surprise. Now it's going to be a little bit of work in order to do it, because I've got to get the alignment of the pickups just right to get the right, basically by how much you move them around from going straight to tilting towards the center, you can control how much mid-range you're dialing into the voicing of the instrument. And by, pulling it away from the treble, you could reduce the treble or reduce the bass if you wanted to do that, and increase the mid-range instead. But yeah, by playing around with these, you can alter the voicing that you get out of the set. So right now they're hooked up in parallel, so they're going to have to be hooked up in series, and then I'm going to want to, tape them in position and test them through a amp or something, and figure out exactly where I want to put them. And then the height actually looks pretty good from before, so at least I don't have to mess around with shims, it doesn't look like. So I guess the first step is to get these things wired into series. Okay, these just happen to be tele pickups, it looks like. This is the bridge. This is a replacement genuine Fender original, part of a match set that I got for the vintage tele mod. And I got one set and it had a bad neck pickup. So then I got a second set and used that neck pickup and had this bridge pickup left over. So that's what that is. And then this is just a neck pickup from a low dollar guitar. And I was gonna see what the polarity is on these guys. Alright, well this one's a South Pole, it looks like. If I can get it out of the glare there, yeah, see, because it's attracting the north. And I think this other one here should be a North Pole. Yeah, north is actually this direction. And this should be a North Pole, and it is. Cool. So now, okay, so they're RP. Now which way do I hook them up to make them RW? I guess I go hot to ground. Well, I can either go hot to ground or hot to hot in order to make them, I guess maybe I make them hot to hot. Or ground to ground, either way. And that should make it RWRP, which should make it humbucking, hopefully. Yeah, let me try that. If it's backwards, I just flip the leads. Or the phase switch if it has one. Alright, so we put the two grounds together and use two hot leads as the hot and the ground for the quote-unquote split humbucker pickup. Alright, so that goes like that. That one's out of the way. And it looks like it's got a fair amount of solder on it already. From before. That thing had a lot of solder on it. That's why it took so long to get it undone. So this is already nicely pre-tinned. Come on. I can feel it getting warm. There it goes. Just takes patience. That will probably do it. Maybe I should put a little more on. Want my heat shrink to still go on it. Yeah, I think it's big enough. Alright. It's definitely soldered together. Get on there, you. Where's the end? Somewhere around there. That should take care of that. Now we have a 2-piece humbucker, which goes in this way. That kind of an idea. I can get everything to stand up here. I need something taller. I'll be back. Oh, wait a second. This might work. Yeah, that should work. That kind of an idea. Yeah, I'm gonna have to tape these down or something. But yeah, just about like that. Right there. And sounded great in the test on this thing right here. The X10 failed tail tuner tremolo system. Alright, let me hook up an amp and a cab and get some gator clips to hook it to a cable. Well, it's sort of working, but not as well as it was when I was testing it using the X10, and I was actually using different pickups for that test. So specifically, this pickup really sucks, apparently. It's not very good at all. And this thing, the Fender unit, it's extremely microphonic. In fact, it occurred to me that part of the sound of guitars with microphonic pickups is the acoustic sound of the guitar itself that you're picking up, and it's almost like a humbucker piezo blend kind of a thing that you got going on with that kind of a setup. So yeah, it might be where part of the brightness of a telly comes from, is the microphonic aspect of the pickups. But so I'm thinking I need to find a better one of these guys. And then it also occurred to me another thing is that it wasn't sounding as loud or louder than the parallel hookup was before, or in general it's not really sounding very loud. And it occurred to me that on a regular humbucker, both coils are together, so when I hit the number 6 string, it's going to generate signal in both coils. But if I've got one coil under these 2 strings or 3 strings, and another one under these 2 or 3 strings, then when I hit the number 6 string, it's really only going to generate signal in this coil, and therefore it's not really going to be any louder than just because of the fact that this other coil is hooked up, because it's not underneath the string I'm plucking. So there's really no major advantage to having these in series rather than parallel, because it's not going to increase the volume, but you're still sending the signal through the second coil, which is going to choke off some treble. That's why a coil is called a choke. So it occurred to me that I should probably go back to parallel wiring on these, and I'm going to see if I can fish up a better pickup. And at the same time, keep the north-south thing going on so that I can get humbucking with any luck. Okay, I went through all my spare parts pickups, and this, I believe, is the one that I was using the other day when I was doing the experiments. It just so happens that the magnet on it has come unglued, so I was able to flip the magnet over so that it's now it's a south. Here, watch. This is catching this. This pickup is a south pickup. That's north there. I take the pickup and I go like that. And yeah, that's definitely a south pickup, because you see the south needle, the south side of the needle just follows the thing around like a puppy dog. So yeah, and this is like, that one that came off of this is a south, and all the rest of the pickups are norths. I've only got 3 more single coils above me. I got 3 norths, and I found 3 dead ones too. But so I flipped around the wiring, and I use this transformer as my EM source, going like that, in order to had it hooked up to leads and run through the amp, in order to figure out which way is RWRP for humbucking, quote unquote. It's noise suppression. It's not pure canceling. I mean, because if you get right up here, trying to get it so that both coils are exactly the same field strength for the emissions coming off of this transformer, it's darn impossible. But back here, no problem. So, and that's similar to the behavior that you see out of like a humbucker. You know, if you had it back here, there'd be no noise. But if you got it right up against the transformer almost, then yeah, you'd start to hear something. But anyway, yeah, so these are back in parallel again, and they're wired RWRP, and it's putting me almost back to the same configuration I had, with the only real difference being where I'm planning on placing the actual pickups. Because before, this guy went across the 3 trebles, and this guy went across the 3 basses, and I'm thinking of just doing 2 this time. But alignment and height are going to be real critical, so I'm fabbing up some shims for this thing. And I went through and I checked like resistance and the impedance of all these, and this is a slightly hotter coil than this old coil here. This is the coil that was on this guitar, so hopefully it'll be an improvement. There are definite issues with just kind of like sitting it here and trying to test, because A, they don't want to stay in place, B, they're not at the right height, and C, they're microphonic, and so just playing something here, the pickup will rumble, and you pick that up, like when you hit a bass string, number 6 string. So what I think I'm going to do, and I'm going to have to test this thing to figure out exactly where to put them for the best voicing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down a piece of tape and then spot glue them onto the tape. And that way I'll protect the finish and figure out where the pickup should go exactly and how much shim and everything. And then when it's all done, then I can take it off and take the tape off and plop it on for real. So I don't know how I'm not going to film a lot of this, you know. There's no need for you to spend time watching me play with shims, so. And that's where I'm at now, is I'm going to get this guy shimmed up so that it's at the same height as the fingerboard, so that, yeah, it's going to be at the same height as the fingerboard here, and then whatever the action is here when this is fretted at the 24th, I'm going to jack this into the pickup to match the same action when this is fretted at the 24th, so that it's absolutely parallel to the string when the string is fretted at the 24th. and that should do it. That's interesting. I was thinking Strat pickups where the bridge and the neck are north and the middle pickup is south. Looks like on the telly the bridge is south and the neck is north. And yeah, so if you look at this one, you can see the mark from the magnets here, from the slugs, because it's been flipped over. And you see that I actually marked the resistance on it, barely, you can see it. Whatever that says. Some number of K. I took a new reading, so it's 7.74K. So yeah, so I go like this, and that turns it into a north, and this guy is a south, so I'm good. Now I gotta glue this. Where's the glue? There's glue. Enough talk, time for action. Now watch, glue doesn't flow. Oh, it flows. Cool. Not too much. That's more than enough, I'm sure. Plop, on it goes. Just trying to get my fingers. Wait for that. Drawing camera time. This episode is brought to you by... No, I promised I wouldn't do that joke anymore. Well, got some spacers on it, and I was checking it out, and it turns out that it's got an intermittent open and the black lead, so I'm not going to be using this pickup. And the old pickup is the next best single coil, so it looks like it's back to the old pickup. Okay, I've got them wired up RWRP again, and I actually resorted to spot gluing them directly to the body to keep them from shifting around while I test to see exactly where I want to place them. Right now they're diagonally underneath the 5 and 6 string and the 1 and 2 string, and the glue's drying. Okay, it took some doing, but I think I got it all working. The bridge pickup is spot glued underneath the 1 and 2 strings diagonally. And this thing is actually, I used a hot glue gun to glue it in place temporarily. And right now it seems to be working. Oh, wait a second. Bridge ground. There we go. Now you can hear what's going on. So these two are quiet compared to those two and those two. So it does seem to be working. I think I'm going to play around with it a little bit more, maybe even going less mid-range on both of these guys would sound even better. So I'm trying to see how scooped I can get it. And I need to charge the camera. Okay, camera's all charged up. It's the next day. It took a bit of doing, but I got it all going. The biggest issue was the fact that these guys were so microphonic that I couldn't really tell what was going on for sure and whether it was working or not until they were actually glued into place. So I ended up going with the bass pickup underneath just the number 6 string and the treble pickup underneath just the number 1 string. And so these 1 and 6 strings are loud and these other 4 just medium volume. And I'm going to see how that works out. And now it's time to start tacking it all down. No, you can't get on the bench. I'm working here, can't you see? It's not a cat bed. Okay, I think that's going to do it for this video. So until the next one, everybody, have a good one.